who doesn't give up easily, that's Ephraim. I have profound admiration for him because, you see, Ephraim tried to fool us here and give us the impression that he's a small fry. But if you ever go over to Chicago and see the Festival of Life, I have had the privilege of being there. Then you understand what Ephraim Martin represents in Chicago. Big stuff. So, this evening, we are launching this event, and I have been asked to guide the proceedings this evening. I am here to tell you that we are looking forward to the event come Sunday night. So I won't bore you because we have started a little bit late, not much. And therefore I'm going to ask Jackie Jackson. No, I don't mean the bassist now. This is a feminine form of Jackie Jackson. Jackie Jackson is the operations manager of IRAMA, and she will be delivering the prayer, not the sermon.
Good evening, everyone. My reverend would love to hear that I'm delivering a sermon. Thank you all for coming. I'm just going to ask us to be still and invite the presence of God. Heavenly Father, we give these proceedings over to you. If it's not for you, we would not have been here. We thank you for your grace, dear God. We thank you for 40 years of IRAMA. We thank you for the team. We thank you for the media that's here this evening to help us to cover this event. We thank you for Ephraim Martin, who came up with the idea to do this event to honor persons in our entertainment fraternity. Dear God, we ask you to put your hands over him. Lay your hands, dear God. Give him the strength to continue year after year. He's doing a wonderful job, and we ask you to continue to guide and protect him and download, dear God, all that he needs to move forward day after day. We thank you for the persons who are here. We thank you for those who are on their way. We thank you for all our presenters, our nominees, and everyone in the entertainment industry that makes IRAMA what it is. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
Well, Jackie, thank you very much. Well, if the entertainment business doesn't work out, there's always a possibility of the ministry. We have a video at this point. Am I correct? That's what I see on the program.
In the 1960s, was born a music form of unprecedented universal appeal, embraced by people all over the globe. Reggae music, as it was christened, placed Jamaica on the map. It attracted millions of tourists to this lovely Caribbean island, generated phenomenal record sales, and propelled a young gifted
created the first International Reggae Award show in Chicago. It was designed to recognize reggae recording artists for their valued contributions to this powerful music form.
The nominees first are selected by the expert in the music industry. Once the experts select the nominees, then the winners are selected by the general public via internet, newspapers, and our email.
Notable reggae and world beat recording artists have performed and have been honored over the years. They include the Marleys, Third World, Wycliffe Jean, Billy Ocean, Sean Paul, Daddy Yankee, Shaggy, Lord Kitchener, Machel Montano, Calypso Rose, Alison Hines, Mighty Sparrow, Awilo Langamba, King Sunny Ade, Fela, Paul Simon, Stevie Wonder, Eddie Grant, and the late, great Tito Puente, and many more. After visiting several cities including Atlanta, Miami, Montego Bay, and New Orleans, to mention a few, the International Reggae and World Music Awards returned to reggae's birthplace, sunny Jamaica. Each year, thousands of music lovers, recording industry executives, celebrities, and tourists attend the coveted and prestigious International Reggae and World Music Awards. In addition, millions will view the broadcast of this prestigious made-for-television extravaganza.
29届国际瑞格音乐奖颁奖典礼5月2号在纽约的约克学院演艺中心举行，吸引了。
As a major branding partner of this event, your company will be receiving exposure, not only to thousands of travelers attending the event, but also to millions who will view your logo or hear your product name mentioned in our multimedia advertising and marketing campaign in the United States and around the world.
International Reggae and World Music Awards.
Atmosphere here at your College Performing Arts Center in Queens, New York, where international reggae and world music industry players gather with fans and friends of your work for the 28th installment of the International Reggae and World Music Awards, IRAWMA.
Great anxiety, joy, and celebration as artists receive their due recognition for outstanding technical and artistic output during the past year. I am Camila McDonald.
Diamond Williams, IRAWMA also serves as an excellent platform for artists to meet, greet, and show appreciation to their fans and rock with the music video.
Right now we are at the red carpet entrance area, ready to show you what the stars are wearing and get their reactions.
Flashback. Now, this award has seen many, many venues across the world. I remember one in particular, I think Eddie Grant was honored. I think it was 2006, was it the Apollo? Yes, that was quite a nice show there, Ephraim. We've had some beautiful events. We've come a long way. And in the audience is a man who has been there with Ephraim for a long time. Copeland sitting up front here, you know. Copeland will be speaking later on. I mean, I'm sure it will be briefly. Hello, Juanita. How are you? Good to see you. Yes. So, I'm going to, you know, I've been given a script, actually, to introduce Ephraim, you know. Now, I wanted to take liberties with the script, as he has taken liberties with me. You know, he calls me at the last minute and said, Clyde, you need to do this or that with the show. But, you know, that's what they say friends are for. You know, I'm not going to say no. But I'm going to read this thing. You know, I know, I met Ephraim when I was a child. Yes. No, Ephraim, I was still going to school as a little boy at St. George's, and I was a reporter. Is that true? Yeah. All right. At the sports desk, of course. Balfour can tell you. Right? That's when I met Ephraim. Ephraim was a photographer. And, you know, Ephraim went away and became a big star and all of that. And, you know, we can tell you all the stories. But that is how it is. But I'm going to stick to the script because you don't want me to veer from the script, Ephraim, because you know that can become dangerous. So Dr. Ephraim Martin, the unstoppable force behind IRAWMA. Jamaican-born Chicago resident Ephraim Martin started his working life as a copy boy at the Gleaner Company, moving to a self-taught freelance photographer, international events and festival producer, human rights activist, and philanthropist. His latest accomplishment has been to receive the highly respected PhD degree in the field of business administration. Dr. Martin is best known as founder of the International Reggae and World Music Awards, IRAMA, which is just one of the many events that he has established since 1980. In fact, in 2016, at the conclusion of the 35th IRAMA and his 100th annual entertainment event, he set a world record as the only known person alive to have consecutively produced 100 annual entertainment events with a 35-year period, boasting 4 unbroken annual events. And early in his career, Martin embarked on a mission to be the voice of the voiceless. At the time, he believed that Jamaica's reggae was severely under-promoted internationally, and he established the International Reggae Music Awards with the objective of bringing nations together through music and culture. It was therefore not a surprise that soon after its launch, he expanded it to be the International Reggae and World Music Awards with special emphasis on Caribbean and African music genres. He also hosted, founded, and established the Chicago Music Awards, as well as the July 4 Labor Day Cultural Festivals in Chicago. In addition to his other exploits, Dr. Martin has mentored hundreds of students in various degree programs through the Martins International Foundation. Over his 40 years of activities, Martin has been awarded over 40 awards in areas of music, history, culture, and his journey continues. And I think he might not want to admit it, but Dr. Martin does have political ambitions in Chicago. So you should be listening out for the launch of his campaign as mayor of Chicago or something to that effect. Don't be surprised. He's a man who has campaigned vigorously with Barack Obama. You see him there? Don't take him lightly. Ladies and gentlemen, the head and founder of IRAWMA, Dr. Ephraim Martin. Thank you very much.
Thank you, but I think a lot of my friends here would not even say Ephraim Martin, but they would say, in those days, what you said there, and powerful enemy and all those people. I was not known as Ephraim Martin, rather Johnny Walker.
That was a drink, that was your favorite drink.
And the thing about it wasn't about the drinks, but one day you'll know. He doesn't really stuff, of course, go to the press club and with the Union of Journalists and Allied Employees and all those, a more progressive journalists in those days. But of course, in 1979, I was able to cover the visit of Fidel Castro in the United Nations. And after leaving the United Nations, I returned to Jamaica, and then I was asked again, I was invited to the Democratic National Convention. And while I was there in New York, I was invited to a conference in Chicago, where I was then asked by the publisher for the Chicago Daily Defender to join the administrator. And from there, while still working in Sweden, I joined the Defender. Shortly thereafter, started the Music Awards. And of course, Copeland City right here in front of me. In 1981, I wasn't thinking about music. But of course, Peter Tosh was traveling with Copeland Forbes, and of course, he asked, when we talked about what was going on in South Africa, Nelson Mandela, and the apartheid system, we decided to do something about it using reggae as an art form and as a vehicle of expression for the voiceless people of the world. And there, Peter Tosh signed on to it, and then later on, people like Freddie McGregor, Dennis Brown, and others, and so they were all on board. And of course, that's the way the international, nutshell, that's the way the International Reggae and World Music Awards got started in 1982. In those days, I didn't think that 40 years later, we would be here still beating the drum, fighting for freedom and democracy and for equal rights and justice through the music over the period of time. And today, this weekend, as we look forward to celebrating 40 years, I would be remiss if I failed to acknowledge my daughter, of course, Dana Martin, and her husband Roger, and all the team members who have been working here in Chicago, in Jamaica, to make this event possible and to make our objective possible. Also those people, especially in Africa and elsewhere, we want to thank each and every one for your contribution. You may have noticed that we are giving away, we're giving out, handing out, and showing respect and honor to 26 non-competitive categories. And those 26 are people who have made extraordinary contribution over the years. I won't be able to name all of them. One of our team members will run through those categories. But just to touch on one that was really touching to us and organization was one for Peter Tosh. Because in those days, as Peter Tosh was traveling in those days, he was promoting legal marijuana as a medicine for the healing of the nation in many ways. And of course, some of you know how often he may have been arrested and put in jail for it. And we have seen that in the United States and around the world. We are seeing that in many countries, people are now praising and are now legalizing marijuana. But the true laborers and the people who are pushing it are not recognized. And Peter Tosh was one of those persons. So on Sunday, there will be a special award for Peter Tosh for the legalization of medical marijuana. That will be one of the awards that will be given. Another one that is kind of close to me is the one, and first let me say, two that's very close to me. Is an award that will be given to the Jamaica Daily Gleaner, because that's where I started. But that award will be given to the Gleaner because the Jamaica Daily Gleaner, whether you want to believe it or not, is the oldest daily newspaper in the world. The oldest daily newspaper in the world. Pushing and publicizing from entertainment, news, politics, everything. The Daily Gleaner. From 1834 to this day, non-stop, the Gleaner. And no one can dispute that. So the Gleaner will be getting that award for their contribution to the media over the years. And then our friends of ours, I must have recognized some of the people who were here with me from the Gleaner, because I see them sitting right here. Donald Dale and Alfred Henry, we were all on the team together in the 70s. But there's a brother by the name of Desmond Allen. Desmond Allen, when we started the awards, he was the president of the Press Association of Jamaica. And he came to Chicago with me to help with the awards because of our objective at that time. And Desmond Allen, of course, was a very progressive reporter. And I can still say he is. But Desmond Allen came and he stayed with us for a while, and when he was about to leave, Professor Rex Delford encouraged him to stay a little longer so that he could help the objectives for an end to apartheid and for the freedom of Nelson Mandela and all the things that we were doing. But Desmond Allen in Jamaica here is the founding editor of one of the most popular newspaper here in Jamaica, Observer. And he will be honored this Sunday at the Music Awards. And there are several others, and you can visit the website, IRAWMA.com, to see some of the honorees who will be receiving awards. Some 135 honorees, nominees, will be up for awards this Sunday. And it will be going on at the Pegasus Hotel. The red carpet starts at 6 p.m. and the showcase will be at 7:30. One of the things that we have added to celebrate this 40th anniversary is the IRAMA Song Contest. When we announced recently the IRAMA Song Contest, several people from various parts of the globe participated in the contest. And of course, the 5 finalists will be, you can see them on YouTube, IRAMA YouTube. They will be performing to determine the best of the 5 at this year's award. That will be a special piece at the award. And of course, I can see one of them, one of the finalists is right here in the house with us. And so if you would just stand and be recognized, I would say, Ephraim, Yes. The other panelists we have from New York, a black spade. From Chicago, we have Jaymon. From Ghana, we have Dr. Flo from Africa. And yes, from Illinois, we have Dangerous. They will be the finalists. They are the finalists for this weekend Best Song, IRAMA song. And of course, there'll be lots of performers who will be taking the stage. We know that we are doing a little tribute to spoken word, because spoken word runs deep into the entertainment industry. So we're going to acknowledge also with a special award, a Cherry Natural, and she's sitting right here with us in the app. Yes. And of course, all the other nominees in that category will share the stage in a short a demonstration of their words. So those are part of that's a part of the activity that will be taking place. We know my good friend and brother, Copeland Forbes, will be a special awardee because he has been around a very long time, and in many ways he was the one who brought the first entertainer that I didn't think could do it at the beginning, because he was so forceful in those days. And every week he would come with a different artist, and he brought Mighty Diamonds in those days, while he was also working with Jimmy Cliff and all the other entertainers. And now he just released his book, which is written Clyde Mackenzie as the a writer, if I'm correct. But Copeland Forbes with his book, and he's going to be up shortly.
Can I tell you about the book?
No, he's going to speak it shortly, so I'm not going to say much about it, but I'm going to leave that up to him and cry. But it's going to be a wonderful event this weekend. And of course, because of the size of the Pegasus, we try not to push too much, because we don't have seats for everybody. But there are a limited amount of tickets that we have released to the public that they can get at IRAWMA.com. And also those are VIP tickets and VVIP tickets and a few general tickets that were released to the public that you can still get for this event. We are several other artists will be taking the stage. And you'll be, when you go to the website, you'll see all of the entertainers. But this event could never be possible without the support of all of the entertainers in the music industry, not just reggae, but the African entertainers and Latin entertainers and others who have helped to push the IRAMA over the years. Because every year when I said I'm stepping back, you know, they would always be there for us and say, hey, we got to keep it going. It's the only thing for reggae. It's the only thing for world music, so we got to keep it going. So we are keeping it going. As we go along, I know more of you are going to join us and going to take the lead. And of course, in the near future, you're all going to work together to keep it going and to make it possible. So I want to say a very special thanks to all the people who have contributed. We have to continue to do so, and we look forward to seeing all of you next Sunday at our 40th anniversary of the International This Sunday. Yes. May 7th, this Sunday. We look forward to seeing you all. Thank you very much, Mr. MC.
Thank you very much, Johnny Walker. that's not what you're drinking. That's just, it's just your name. And I know, I see a man who definitely would have known you in your Johnny Walker days, Julian Jingles Reynolds. Yes. He's here tonight. Ephraim, I just thinking. So Copeland is being honored tonight. But before, Ephraim, it struck me. Way back in 2006 at the Apollo, you gave me a lifetime achievement award. Now, I mean, that young boy, it means that you never want to give me no more award. Good. That's your way of doing your thing. Because I said to myself, when, young read one, and Ephraim give me lifetime, and done him one, done. And I said, my wife was there, and I said to her, I said, can I get no more? I said, I'm so sad, so done. Ephraim, you know me. You shouldn't ask me, you keep doing this thing, and I'm not going to restrain myself, I just talk what I feel. Right? But it's a game you play for me, but it's alright. He's still my friend. I have a poet who is on the program. Now, you don't play with this lady because she's militant in words and she can leak out your daylights to the message itself, It's a martial artist, so don't ram her. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the poet, Cherry Natural.
Yeah, man, give thanks, and I must say, Mr. Martin, give thanks for the special award, that I'll be getting. So, all right. On the 22nd of April was Earth Day, so I'm going to do one about Earth Day because most times when we're doing performances or lyrics, a lot of people coming in, so I'm kind of going with that. Yeah. All right. So, oftentimes the lyrics about climate change and what is happening with the ozone. So I'm going to do a poem called Earth is Our Home. Neil Armstrong could not stay on the moon for too long. Venus and Mars are our closest neighbors. No hope there for humans. The cosmos is in chaos. Global warming, climate change, ozone depletion, glaciers melting, ocean rising, the sea that used to feed us is getting hungry, eating up the land, greenhouse gases, fossil fuel emission, more carbon, less oxygen, filling our lungs with toxin, big corporations dumping their toxic waste in our rivers and lakes, using the ocean as their garbage bin, filling it with plastic, turning the water acidic, damaging the coral reefs. The mangroves are under threat, nothing left to buffer us from storm surges and floods. They're burning down the rainforest, destroying Mother Nature's assets. The birds have no place for rest, forests, nowhere to breed, pollinating insects disappearing because of corporate greed. Jeez, I couldn't tell when last I see some bees. Jeez, I couldn't tell when last I see some bees. Earth is becoming a melting pot. Joni Mitchell said, the paving paradise, putting up parking lots. The paving paradise, putting up parking lots. We won't know what we have got until it's gone. The running away the bees, replacing the trees with concrete. Lack of vision. If they can't see the problems, they need to see an optician. Lack of vision. If they can't see the problems, they need to see an optician. Mother Earth is suffocating. She can't breathe. Her lungs are blocked. Capitalism hands are around her neck and its knees in her back. She's heartbroken. Like a discarded bride, she cries. Eyes filled with blood, she nurtures us from her bosom. All she gets in return is unrequited love. Earth is our home, our only home. We are connected to the mountains, the rivers, the trees, even the rock stone. Let's preserve the planet we live on. There is no plan, net B, if something goes wrong on this one. Our collective survival depends on everyone's cooperation. Everyone's cooperation. You won't know what we have got until it's gone. They're running away with bees, replacing the trees with concrete. Lack of vision. If we can't see the problems, we need to see an optician.
If we can't see the problem, we need to see the optician. Let's hear it again for Cherry now. She has been a consistent voice, feminine voice in dub poetry. I mean, one of the earliest female voices in this business, and she looks as if she's still 16. Now, we have the launch of the IRAWMA commercial. Ryan, is that it? Am I? I'm not talking out of turn? No, okay. Do I get out of the way?
Artists International presents Reggae and World Music Biggest Night of Honors, the 40th anniversary of the International Reggae and World Music Awards, IRAMA, live at the Pegasus Hotel, Kingston, Jamaica, Sunday, May 7th. Red carpet arrival and VIP reception at 6 p.m. Showcase at 7:30 p.m. Among the reggae celebs gracing the red carpet, Spice, Beanie Man, Kabaka, Bounty Killer, D'Angelo, Tiani, and scores of others. Hosted by Delia Harris and G.T. Taylor. Tickets at IRAMA.com. Supported by Jamaica Tourist Board, PB Records, Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports, Downtown Entertainment, and others. Martins International, bringing nations together through music and culture.
Well done, Mr. Martin. Johnny Walker, well done. Well, we are at that point where we are asking other honorees to speak. We have two of them. One of them is right here before me, and he is artist manager, tour manager. He has now assumed the title of author, and this is a man who loves to speak. I am being asked to introduce him. See, he has his book right beside him. You're not going to read from the book. He promises me that he's not going to be reading from the book, and he is not giving any excerpts from the book. Okay, there are no excerpts from the book. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Copeland Forbes.
Here we go.
Mic testing 1, 2, 3. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. I don't want to put me in this spot, but I was asked, I was begged, I was texted, message was sent all over. Please, no more than 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
Well, it's hard to keep it to 5 minutes, but I'm going to keep it as tight as possible. And I promise I'm not going to read no excerpts from the book. But I have to bring it up here. Now let me just run back a few years quickly, because this all has to be done in 5 minutes. Right? Right, Mr. Johnny Walker?
The introduction is 5 minutes, sir.
Back in the 80s, when Mr. Martin started, it's funny, you know, we were on Such Much Tour, and he started the awards. And I promised him that when we get a day off, right, we're gonna keep flying into Chicago back and forth. So when he had the launch in Chicago, we had a day off and I flew in with Gregory Isaacs, Dennis Brown, and I think Freddie McGregor as a surprise. And he was elated to see some of the stalwarts being there for the launch of the first one. And then I looked at it, you know, and I said, boy, you know, this brother has a heart, you know, because just by himself, he started this awards, which not just being IRAMA, it wasn't IRAMA then, it was Martin's International Award. Then, I think, instead of saying Johnny Walker, he said Martin, give his name, right? And I decided then to really support him in this venture. Now, 40 years later, I'm still standing here, and he's still sitting over there. And I can give an account. I don't think nobody else in here can give a more account than me about the struggles and the hardship and everything that he went through to bring it, you know, to this level 40 years later. You know, and so much hilarious ones that the only one that I always laugh and talk about was in 1983 in Chicago, and he was coming up to make his speech in a tuxedo, well trashed. And as he was walking by me, I noticed his shoes was white, like Michael Jackson. But when he went by, I didn't see no shoes. I saw a white socks. Martin had forgotten his shoes at the hotel and was going to the restaurant to make his speech without any shoes and didn't even realize he didn't have on the shoes. So I had to take off my shoes. Now I'm 3 sizes bigger than him. I had to take off my shoes in the art. This is a serious thing, you know, the arrogant ballroom. Take off my shoes and give it to him, and he said, he look big. I said, all right, it's some newspaper. I step the door, and I tell him, don't step high, just step slow. It's a serious thing, you know, that really happened, you know. But, you know, it was hilarious that night, and we always talk about it and joke about it in many ways and everything and so on. You know, and I've seen it in New Orleans, I've seen it in Atlanta, many times in Florida, you know, in Trinidad, in New York. The greatest time of all, though, is when that red carpet was spread outside the Apollo Theater, where I was proud as a Jamaican.
2006.
Yes, when people were passing in the bus and said, what's happening there? And I said, the International Reggae and World Music Awards. At the Apollo? I said, yes, why not? We can be at the Apollo. So it was a great moment when we entered the Apollo, and not once, but twice, you know, in celebrating this, this great awards. And as we go along, I always remember other awards. There were so many awards, especially in this little island, Jamaica. And I've seen them come and I've seen them go. I have seen them come and I see them struggle and I see them disappear. But for some reason, Mr. Martin finds magic to work every year so we can have the International Reggae and World Music Awards, and I think he deserves a applause. I have been many times to the Grammy Awards in California and in New York, and every time I walk inside that hall, I always remember our Grammy Awards. And now look today. Now, I remember last year when Soldier won won the Grammy, and there was this big hullabaloo and everybody was making noise and all kinds of stuff. And I sat there, I said, but we have our own Grammy Awards. And most of those people that was on social media running up them out has never even been to one of them or supported it. But talking about other awards instead of concentrating on building what we have here. So I'm proud today to be standing here that I made a great contribution. And I'm proud tonight because in that journey, most of it, a lot of it is in this book here that took me 22 years to put together. It started in 2002 when I was doing my 40th anniversary tour in the United States titled One Love. And I had artists from every different genre on the tour. And I needed a dancehall artist. And I decided that let me check around, Billy Man, Sean Paul. But at that time there was a duo who was rocking the radio station in the States at that time named Promotional and Devante. And their songs were getting a lot of airplay, so I had to go up to Shocking Vibes to talk to the management team. And the person I ran into was my friend here, Clyde Mackenzie. And we sat there every evening talking about Tonto Metro and Devante. But he was on the phone a lot of times talking to man's people overseas. So I had a lot of time to talk. And he had a friend named Howard McIntosh, which they call it Big Mac, was there every evening. So I started giving talks on some of the history of, tours and the groups and reggae around the world. And he found it very interesting. And he kept saying to me, why don't you just put everything into a book instead of just talking it, because this is history. And I didn't pay it any mind, and one evening he came with a tape recorder and he started taping, and I said, you know something, I think I should really put it in a book. And I started from there, but everybody knows I'm all over the world, and tours here and there, so every time I get a short time I put it together. But I'm proud that quite a few people in here who played a great role in this book because they are mentioned inside there. Sister Lloyd Grant, she was on a team when I did my first big show in Jamaica titled Reggae Jam Boogie, right? We had it at the National Arena, and she along with her partner, Brother Michael Savage, right, was the producer of the event for me. And I can tell you, that show, I printed 10,000 tickets in Miami, and all 10,000 tickets were sold out, and that's the biggest show I've ever done in Jamaica. So give Sister Lloyd a she started doing that too. And brother, our next brother sitting inside here, he spearheaded another overseas big show that I did in Madison Square Garden, Forum. It was 1 degree below zero that night, January 1977. And the brother said, we are going through no matter what. And I'm proud that he's sitting here with me now. This year, brother Julian Jingles right there. Then another brother who played a great role in my journey, all the way from the 70s. And he was there with me. He was there when I was invited to Craigtown to make a speech at the lodge for Ghetto Splash. He wasn't there in the night when I got held up by gunmen though. And he was a great writer, still is, and he was at the Gleaner at the time. And I have to give kudos to Brother Balfour Henry over there. So I just want to thank everyone here who has played a great role. In my 60 years, I'm celebrating 60 years. I started December 15, 1962 in this business, and I've never looked back. I didn't start at the top. I tell you why I started. I started as a member of a group in the Harmonics, and then I moved on to a group named the Coasters and the Dancers, right? And I came up the ranks. On the international scale, I started out managing the Mighty Diamonds, then the Trash, as his personal assistant, and I'm one of your aunts. The fact that I'm restricted to 5 minutes. I just want to say seriously though, that I'm proud here tonight because what had bothered me over the years was that every time you travel around the world, you see a lot of people writing books and stories about us and our music. But I'm proud that I, as a Jamaican, can write about my own music and don't have to depend on foreigners to write about us and tell our story. So it's a very nice book, very historic pictures are in them. You know, pictures galore. Trust me, pictures that some of them you have never seen, right? And I restored a lot of them, kept them from in the early 60s. And I'm going to do something special later on in the year at the Peter Tush Symposium by my brother over there, Dr. Barnett. And that title of that session is going to be Setting the Record Straight. Right? Because there's a lot of wrong stories and things being published all over in every aspect where the business is concerned. Right? And one of the things that I am honored and privileged that I was there to see them myself. I didn't hear it, I didn't read it, nobody didn't tell me, I witnessed them myself, right? So I can talk, I have the authority to talk because I see it myself. I'm not going to go into anything personal, but some of the great stories that are erroneously published about Jamaica, its music, and its culture. It hurt me when I see the wrong things there, right? And I know I was there and I witnessed it myself. So look out for that in October, setting the record straight. And I'm going to have some special people with me to authenticate a lot of the stuff that I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to be surprised to see some of the people that I'm going to have. So thank you very much, brother.
Copeland came in little less than an hour for a 5-minute speech. Juanita, he did well. I'm sure you're proud of your husband. You know, he took just 55 minutes to do a 5-minute speech. You know? But Copeland, he has cut it short. I can tell you that. I can attest to that for you. And so we learned a lot about his book, which is quite interesting, if I must say so myself. Now, another honoree, so we move right into the recognition of the sponsors, and I'm going to ask Ms. Marcy McDonough, who is in charge of sponsorship, to come forward and tell us a little bit about what has happened in terms of the support that you have received for this event. Thank you, Ms. Marcy McDonough. We have to, you know, we need out of the box.
Yes, good evening, everyone. Well, what I first want to say is I must say a very big thank you to the sponsors who have actually come on board and given their support and endorsement to this show. I mean, when you listen to the history, when you listen to Copeland, you watch the video, when I speak to Dr. Martin on a daily basis or whatever, I believe that this show is significant. We have a lot of shows in Jamaica, we have a lot of awards, and they come up every day. But when you see the history coming up for this show, I do believe that it is a very significant event that really should be supported. And I tell you the truth, where sponsorship is concerned, especially since COVID, things have been difficult. It's not business as usual, and so to get people to support is very difficult. And you know, I work with sponsors for a long time, and the truth is you have a lot of companies, they jump onto a lot of events because they're already popular and they're already supported and they're already big, but sometimes they don't recognize the little gems that are out there. And so when these companies have come on board and said, listen, we're going to put our names behind you. We're going to help you to grow. We have to say thanks and we have to recognize them. And so, of course, the Ministry of Culture, Gender, and Sports, the thing is, it is our culture. They are just a natural part, and they have definitely come on board and given their support, and have been in the past as well. Downtown Entertainment, we wish we would have seen Mr. Bogdanovich tonight. He meant to come, but you know, things have come. And of course, you know, he has been a strong supporter of reggae and dancehall and Jamaican culture, which he loves. We have to say thanks to Downtown Bridge and IRAWMA Radio. They have come on, put their name behind it, and they're pushing it. And we cannot do without, of course, the Jamaica Tourist Board. I mean, they're there all the time for everything, and they make sure that they support our culture and they push it out because it is so strong worldwide. Not to say that, I'm mentioning these, but not to say that we don't have other supporters, and those we will definitely showcase at the big show, on the big show reel. But we have quite a few people who have come on board in a smaller capacity in terms of categories, making sure that the trophies have their names and that kind of thing, and have pledged their support to the event. So my job is to say a big thank you. We welcome you. We are very happy you're here, and also to say, you know, there is next year. We always need support and help. So we hope that after this year we see a lot more sponsors running to support the show. So that's it in terms of the sponsors. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. McDonough, on giving us the lay of the land as far as the sponsorship is concerned. Now, the next honoree is related to Copeland in the sense that he is part of that company that has published the book that Copeland said he wasn't going to make any mention of tonight. So, without further ado, I'm going to call on the man who is affiliated with so many ventures in Jamaica, including Reggae Sumfest, including Down Sound Book Publishing, and so many other ventures in Jamaica. A man who has deservedly been honored by IRAMA because he has thrown his support behind Jamaican music, without question. I perhaps have known him longer than most other people in Jamaica. And, you know, whatever you want to say, you've got to hand it to Joe. He has been steadfast in his support of Jamaican music and Jamaican culture. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce to you another honoree, Mr. Joseph Bogdanovich. Could you, ask Mr. Bogdanovich. Mr. Joseph Bogdanovich, he's here. Okay, so I was given some misinformation. Okay, so we will move on and we will ask Mr. Omar Sutherland for the closing remarks. Mr. Sutherland.
evening, ladies and gentlemen, media partners, and other members of the audience participating via the online modality. First and foremost, I am delighted and honored, and it is indeed an awesome privilege to bring the closing remarks at this 40th leader launch of the IRAMA. The advent of the COVID-19 pandemic, retrospectively and post-current reality, has indeed ushered in a new economic and social reality. Notwithstanding, IRAMA 40th still rise, still stand, and will go on indeed. I'd like to thank our sponsors. Yes indeed. Kudos and we salute you. I'm talking about the Ministry of Gender, Entertainment, Sports, Downtown Records, Bridge FM, IRAFM, VP Records, and also the endorsement by the Jamaica Tourist Board. Thank you, and we appreciate your partnership. Special salute to our category sponsors alike. Let me hasten to add. Special salute and thank you to our audience, the dignitaries, members of the music fraternity, and the viewing and listening public. I'd also like to recognize and thank Mr. Martin, our president, as also retired Justice of Chicago, Appellate Court, Justice Shelvin Marie Hall. Without their continued dedication, vision, leadership in facilitating and providing the platform for recognizing and honoring the best and greatest in reggae and dancehall. Last but not least, our hardworking and dedicated staff cadre, especially Ms. Jacqueline Jackson, our operations manager, and Ms. Marcia McDowell, our awesome marketing manager, and indeed, our team of volunteers. They all made this night's occasion a success. See you all on the red carpet at the Jamaica Pegasus on the 7th of May, 2022. At 6 p.m. And I must recognize Ms. Dana Martin for her contribution to the IRAMA.
While they're whispering, I just want to say something. Somebody in the back said to me, I should announce it where they can get the book to buy. You can get it on Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble, in LMH stores, and at Downtown 22 Delmont Road. And Mr. Clyde McKenzie will tell you the other places where you can get the book. Okay?
At this point, we will take questions. I don't know, Mr. Forbes, I wanted to do an advert for you. But yes, I think LMH is the distributor of the book, and it is being sold at pharmacies and bookstores across the island. So if you don't get them tomorrow, it's there, it's coming. LMH is doing the distribution. So, I hope I did that okay for you. Thank you. No, Jackie, you have your hands up. What happened?
Well, I'd like to open the floor to Mr. Forbes to have some.
Again?
Autograph.
Oh, all right.
Yes.
Okay, Mr.
Is it
Forbes.
possible?
She wants to open the floor to Mr. Forbes to autograph, he said.
On Sunday.
You're open. Oh, Mr. Forbes. The floor is open to you on Sunday, right? She's saying that you can sell books. You're allowed to have your books being sold at the venue. That's a special feature that she's extending to you. Okay, good. Okay, I don't need to get Mr. Forbes for a thank you speech for that. Okay.
I will take 10% towards our foundation.
Okay, all right. 10%. So, Mr. Martin, I now hand over the proceedings to Mr. Martin and maybe Mr. Forbes to answer the questions. I'm through for the night. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan is getting annoyed because we might be letting this thing. Right now, Ryan, am I on time, I think? I'm good, okay, thank you. Good, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And I turn over the proceedings to Mr. Martin and Mr. Forbes.
Okay, again, let me say a very special thanks to each and every one of you for coming out and for being a part of this announcement. It said that the floor is open for question and answer, but actually, man, said we will only take 4, not more than 5 questions. So if anyone have any question that you want to ask, then we're here to answer. Okay.
Why do they call it Johnny Walker?
Where's Barbara and Johnny there? Oh, that's coming from way back. Well, it was always about the news around here. Some people thought it was about drinking Johnny Walker. It was nothing about like that. But in those days when things rough in Kingston and there's always breaking news. And sometimes when you have no transportation to go down to Tivoli to go to Trenchtown and all that, you have to walk in.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's a shot.
That's a piece of history. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yes, greetings. Yes, Mr. Martin, Michael Barnett here. Wear several hats, so I'm not going to go down that road. But I'm just wondering, congratulations on one of the longest running award show. And it's good to know, Jamaicans can excel where it's important. I want to ask you, which out of all of the awards events, shows you've done in the past 40 years, which one, if you had to narrow it down, is the most memorable, significant one?
Wow. That one is rough. Because there's, most memorable one. My goodness. Is, I would say with Burning Spear and Muta Baruch and Beanie Man and several others. Don Penn when we were in New Orleans. New Orleans has seen the worst flooding in over 100 years at that time. And what happened is that the flood, the theater was all the way flooded, water all the way. And believe it or not, when the city was closed down, Burning Spear, Beanie Man, and all the people I mentioned, they performed in the water. And the show went on. It didn't stop the show because they said the show must go on. And I remember Burning Spear skanking in that water in New Orleans. And that was one that we never forget.
Yeah, I was wanting to ask, you see, who actually wrote the book?
I heard you say Copeland is after now. I was trying to clarify.
Who wrote it?
That's our Kyle and Copeland.
Well, I must say that a lot of the stories, right, because I was there, I was able to write the stories that I saw. And he was brilliant in editing, twisting it around to make it look good. Sometimes it looked bad on one or two people, but he was excellent on that. And because he said he didn't want us to look like we are holding on any particular person or to talk about people's personal life. But some of the issues had to be told because errors that legends have made. And experienced people before us, and we didn't want the young ones to come and make the same mistakes. So we had to talk about it. So it was very articulate.
Okay, okay.
No, I'm not a host.
So we'll take this one more question, yeah?
Yeah, let's come on after dinner.
Question, as for IRAMA, where do you see IRAMA going in the next 5 years?
Okay, well, IRAMA will be going from strength to strength, and as we ask for support for the a qualification from a IRAMA, we'll see IRAMA going national television in the years ahead. Well, this year we're going to be on tentatively we're booked for NBC and CBS, and we'll make a decision which of it depends on the support we get either from Jamaica and or elsewhere. But we have tentatively booked for it to be on TVJ and RETV in Jamaica, and in Chicago, NBC and a CBS TV. And in the years ahead, we are talking to different countries where they want to get rights to broadcast IRAMA. So far in Africa, we are in Sierra Leone. They are getting ready to broadcast the event for this year. And in South Africa, they are requesting rights for IRAMA. Ghana wants us to get there as soon as possible. And there are several other countries. But of course, we couldn't skip Jamaica for this special year, celebrating our 40th anniversary. And this award will continue until when we are gone, the award IRAMA will still be there, and it's going to be going from strength to strength. And I hope you all will, the younger ones will be here to maybe take to that step.
Any further questions? Oh, that's it? Thank you, Mr. Dr. Martin.
So again, on behalf of Martins International and our team everywhere, we just want to say a very special thanks. Enjoy yourself. You can network a little, and then we'll see you on Sunday, May 7th. Hope I want food right now, and I don't blame them.
Thank you very, very much. I want to just acknowledge DJ Venus. She's from way down under, from Australia, you know, and she's here and she's going to be giving us some closing music. She's been entertaining us, providing us with music. You see how far the music has gone? Way down under. You know, so want to thank her. She's a long-standing IRAWMA supporter. Thank you very much for the support. So it's your turn again. And there is some refreshments. Copeland, you were asking for food? Yes. It's coming. That's all. Ryan told me that. So, and he's usually a reliable man. So the food is coming. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
So it's refreshment. Thank you.
Thank you.